5 years ago, a 38-year-old woman and her 45-year-old husband lived with their 3 children, ages 4 to 9. At that time, their nanny had been working with the family for almost 2 years. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like and share this video with your friends. The nanny was 22 and had come highly recommended by other people. The nanny was taking a gap year in her studies before she began grad school later that year. She had also previously worked for friends of the family, who said she was a great nanny. The woman decided to interview the nanny and found that her children instantly bonded with the girl, so she felt it was only natural to hire this woman. The woman said after hiring the girl, she became part of their family. Apart from babysitting for the family most weekends and some weekdays, the nanny also went with them on vacations to Hawaii, Florida, and Mexico. While the woman was happy with how the nanny cared for her children, she became suspicious of other behavior. Why was the woman suspicious? The woman worked as a corporate events planner, with Saturdays being her busiest days. Sometimes she arrived home after midnight and expected her nanny to be gone after the kids had been put to bed at 10:30 p.m. However, one morning when the woman arrived home at 1, she found the nanny still in her house. The girl was wearing her coat as the woman walked in and looked flustered as her husband walked out of the den behind the nanny. The woman said the nanny had been paid, and when she asked her what she had been doing, the girl admitted she had been watching a movie with the woman's husband. The woman's husband then told her he couldn't tell the girl to leave, and then said, "It's not like she's a stranger in the house." The woman felt something was amiss and asked her daughter when she went to bed. The little girl told her mother her siblings had gone to bed at their usual time, but she couldn't fall asleep because her nanny and her father had been talking and laughing loudly, which they did most Saturdays. Not only did the woman find this out from her daughter, but she also knew that the nanny had a crush on her husband because she had once referred to him as the hot dad. The woman began questioning past interactions between the nanny and her husband, including photos they had taken together and how generously her husband tipped the nanny. What did the woman do? Soon after her first post, the woman made another, sharing that the previous days had been difficult for her and that she had gone to her OB/GYN to have a full STD panel done as she suspected her husband of having an affair with the nanny. She also revealed that she had had cameras installed in their home and hired a private investigator to help her determine whether her husband was cheating on her with their nanny. The woman also recalled an instance in Hawaii when they had been on vacation together. The woman said her husband had snuck out of their room almost every night, saying he couldn't sleep. On their last day, as she was packing up to leave, the woman found that her husband and nanny were struggling to wake up and pack up. After her husband finally woke up and she was able to rouse her nanny, she spoke to her husband and remarked, "Y'all both have something in common." Only later did the woman wonder if there was more that her husband and the nanny had in common than lousy sleeping patterns. She even asked if that was the first time she may have blown their cover. The woman then waited for the cameras to be installed without her husband's knowledge and came home to find him waiting for her in the den one night. She had been pretending everything was okay, but was anticipating watching the footage captured by the secret cameras. She discussed how she felt about the situation and shared, "After getting into bed and making sure that my husband was already asleep, however, I came downstairs an hour later and switched on my laptop in the study to watch video playback." The woman watched the footage and saw that aside from her husband being affectionate with the nanny in front of her children, the woman watched as the nanny came down from putting her children to bed and walked up behind her husband, who was watching TV, and kissed him on the neck. The woman's husband smiled and pulled the nanny in for another kiss before she sipped his drink and straddled him. The nanny and the woman's husband were intimate in the guest bedroom after the husband had checked whether or not the children were asleep. The woman shared that she didn't know if she should immediately confront her husband or try to catch him in the act instead. People who saw the post advised that she should get a lawyer before she went any further, and others told her she should leave her husband as soon as possible.